Well, all right, darlings, and welcome. I hope you're having a beautiful day. We are roasting chickens today. I'm going to have such a good time. We are using a cooking bag. That is something that you're going to have to get used to. I do a mess of dishes over here just real quick. Didn't want to pull out my rack. So, if you can get this system, it really works. It takes no time at all, and I've seen people set up their dishwater, and I just don't do that. I use my little soap directly on the sponge. I wash you, I rinse you, and I move on. And it's a very, very thorough thing. So, anyway, this is our cooking bag we're going to be using today, and I'm going to be putting it in this little puppy. And then I am going to cover it with foil at the end. I'll show you. But first, we're going to go ahead and cook it in the cooking bag. What I'll be putting in the cooking bag, and this all depends on you, okay? But I like to put in onion soup mix. Really is a great basis to start with. Pineapple juice never hurts. Orange juice is good. Whatever base season you want to use. I like to use something a little liquid. So what I'll do is use soup, but a lot of people will season up their chicken and then they put water in the bag and they'll swish it around a little bit so that every part of it gets covered. Now, like I said, I like to use the onion soup, and I do end up adding a mess of other stuff because I can't deal without curry. I've got to have some paprika, a little salt and pepper up in there, garlic and herb seasoning. I get a little silly with it, you know what I mean? So it's really up to you. Greek seasoning is real good. I love this Tom's Creole stuff. And you're going to find that the more flavor you put in the bag, let's not get silly with it. Salt, you're going to want to, not overdo the salt. But you go ahead and put that in that bag and you cook it, and you're going to find yourself a happy... Oh, sorry, I was doing my laundry. I did a couple of things by hand, just quick to get them out of their way. When I take off my nightgown in the morning, it's totally not dirty, but I do want a little fresh to it. So I'll wash it in the sink, wring it out, and then I'll just hang it anywhere, as you can see. So that was kind of funny, but it is a great tip, and it's right by the oven. So literally, it's completely dry right now, and I put it there about 25 minutes ago, and so it did pretty well. In the meantime, I also ring really well because I use the what do you call that? I don't want to say handicaps, but the assistance bars in the tub. You know what I mean? Those are great for ringing, and so. Those are my black bananas for my bread later. And I'm going to be planting these little puppies. Potato plants are the most beautiful plants, and they're quite rugged. I bought a gorgeous little container from the DI, a thrift store here locally in Utah. And coming to you from Salt Lake City. And so what ended up happening is I put it up under a light, and I do keep, it wasn't just that I was using a humidifier. We were actually keeping the door open. And I just guess the moisture in the air, a potato plant started growing. It was very close to the light. So it seems like light is very important to them. And it was wild. It was just wild because nobody planned on growing a potato. And it was beautiful. When I did intentionally plant a potato, I actually thought that it had failed. And then I come back later and I found like 10 little baby potatoes. It was just wild. And it was in a small little pot. So that is a rugged... And that's how you know that potato famine was a deal of the devil, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to stop. Anyway, I'll come back in a sec. I just got a message that I gotta go. And then on top of it, I think I'm about to sneeze. Anyway, so I'm not gonna have time to show you the whole thing. So you take it out of this bag, then you take it out of the other bag, and then you put your hand inside it. And you take out the giblets and anything else you find in there. You boil that and you in a little pot, okay? You don't have to use a pot this big. It would work though. And you put some water in it to cover it by at least a quarter inch. And then you can add some spices, boil it down. Eventually, you have something really great to make a gravy with. And I have been thickening my gravies with potato flakes, and people love it. So, you know what I mean? Go sparingly, but it works. And it works nicely. Your spices are going to be important. That's when I would add my sage or, my real chickeny stuff, things that are known for chicken, rosemary. I put that stuff in my giblet gravy. And I generally will just literally drizzle a little bit of it over the meat, any accoutrement, on the sides. And so then you're going to go ahead and with your bag, you open up your bag and you put in your spices first. And then you put in a little bit of hot water. I never use more than like a couple tablespoonfuls, which is equal to a quarter cup for those of you who would like to know how to convert our things a little easier. The metric system is designed to keep people idiots. They don't want it to be usable for you. They don't want you to know math. They don't want you to doing math. That's why they got Carmen Core up under yourself. Meanwhile, I'm going to quit. Then I'm going to put it in for 350. Now, I cook my chickens a lot longer than people do. I cook my meat. I cook the heck out of my meat. You will never get sick in my house from any kind of food poisoning. So, knock wood. So, what I do is I put it in there and I get it to where I smell. I do cooking by smell. And you can start to smell when it's roasting. For me, that's about an hour, okay? A little bit over an hour sometimes. And once it starts smelling crunchy, there's like a char to it. You'll smell it. Then you go, okay, I better check it. And you should see the water just boiling and boiling and boiling. The moisture in the bottom of the pan. And then I like to turn it down to about 250. I just leave it there until I'm ready to eat. You can leave it there all day if you want to. It won't burn. And but be careful because when you go to move it, the bones just might fall right out of it. That's how beautifully moist and tender your chicken is going to be. And it's going to be full of flavor. And it's going to be delicious. Now, if you like to have the crispy outside, because a lot of people do, you slit open the bag. And I put foil over it for about 2 minutes or 5 minutes, up to you, And that kind of like gets a lot of the moisture away from the skin, okay? Or it starts it steaming up, okay? Then I take the thing off, all right? I take the foil off. You don't have to do this. You could just not do the first part. But the first part really works for me, so I like it. And so then you put it back in the oven for about, I put like a 10-minute timer at the 200. No, I turned it up, to 425. And then I'll do it for 5 minutes at that high 425 to 475. 5 minutes, you come back and the skin's crisped up. So that's pretty nice, but it's super moist inside. You do got to slit the bag open though, remember, so that the skin can kind of dry out. That's why I do that first step with the foil, so that it kind of really gets it hot and steamy in there, so that when you take the foil off, that steam blows away, you know what I mean? And it creates a dehydration moment, for the skin. And then, because I like me some crunchy, crispy skin. I am the girl that will take the skin off of the meat and throw it back in the oven all by itself and then eat it later for a snack. Hey, I think it's healthier than potato chips. Although potato chips are pretty wild too if you do them at home. Anyway, remember that I love you and that you guys should be cooking a lot more at home. Know who's doing what to your food. And people are like, oh, it's just about artificial colors and preservatives. And no, darlings. It's because people are out there hexing your food. People are spitting in your food. Haven't you watched The Help? Didn't you see Roots? No, just playing. It's so much worse than that. And so, no, prepare your home and prepare your life. And there's nothing more fun than thanking the Lord and having someone say, bless the hands that prepared the food. And you're like, oh, thank you. You guys know I'm a goose, so quit playing with me. It's just been so much fun. You have no idea. My journey, the celestial journey, is truly sensational and enjoyable. Remember that God loves you, and so do I. Stay prayed up, guys.